Good morning, my friends. Welcome to Roger's Reflections on Monday, January 11th in the year 2021. Today I'm going to be reading to you a couple of verses or one verse actually, from the book of Romans, Paul's letter to the church at Rome, the 14th chapter, verse 13. Hear now the word of the Lord. Let us therefore no longer pass judgment on one another, but resolve instead never to put a stumbling block or hindrance in the way of another. Let me read that again. Excuse me. Let us therefore no longer pass judgment on one another, but resolve instead never to put a stumbling block or hindrance in the way of another. If you get a chance, read all of chapter 14. Paul is really focusing in on what is good, and what is necessary and what is not necessary. He says for some people, all food is good. For some people, certain things are fine. They're not a temptation, but for others, they are. And that for those who are not tempted, to those who can eat anything, can drink anything, can do all that stuff, and it doesn't bother their faith, we have actually anybody has a responsibility for the faith of others. Now, obviously, your faith is your faith and my faith is my faith, and ultimately you have to make that decision to follow Christ or not. But I am responsible for any action that I have that may cause you to stumble, that may put a hindrance in your faith. And so a lot of the conversations, a lot of the things that we put out, we just need to be careful. We need to think about the effects that our words and actions and deeds have on the faith of others. If for no other reason, we need to be careful in that what we say and what we do honors God and glorifies Him and does not tear down the faith of another. Now, there are times, and again, this is where we struggle. This is where we struggle when we are proclaiming truth that the world needs to hear, and I get that. I understand that. People are proclaiming false. They're lifting up things that are false. That's true, and so we need to stand up. We need to speak out. But too often we speak out too quickly. We respond out of our passion without considering the effect that our words might have on one with weaker faith. There are multiple ways of saying things. Just this morning, I posted, there was someone who had made a joke. A friend had asked, what is your guilty pleasure? And another Methodist minister said, with a little angelic emoji, says, "Oh, I love going to district and conference meetings. That is my guilty pleasure." And a lot of us were laughing at it. And, I said, I typed in my Google search box, liar, liar, pants on fire meme. And I came back with one. It showed the guy in the from like the late 1700s, and it says, "Deceiver, I say again, deceiver, thou trousers are aflame." Same thing, liar, liar, pants on fire, is just spoken in a different way. Words, we can speak the truth, but when we speak the truth in love, with the goal of, oftentimes our goal is simply to be right and simply to put someone else down, and oftentimes our goal is to put up a straw man and tear it down. Should our goal be, rather, how can we speak truth while building up relationships, building up the faith of those around us? there's a difference. When the goal is the relationship, when our goal is building our relationship with God, when our goal is building our relationship with others, when our goal is supporting others' faith, then we might not say exactly the first thing that pops into our mind. We might consider, how can I still get the truth across, but in a way that does not jeopardize someone's faith? These are things we need to think about. As Christians, these are things we need to consider. Scripture pretty set on that, and we need to be aware. The thing is, a lot of people, they focus on, and I do this too at times. They focus on one thing that just really resonates with them, one aspect of the Bible, one aspect of Scripture, and they said, this is what I'm going to lift up. And it says, speak for justice, speak out, and do all that. But all of this is covered in love, and we really need to consider, what does love have to do with it? How does love work in the midst of this, in the midst of speaking truth, in the midst of standing up, in the midst of, of our passions? Resolve instead never to put a stumbling block or hindrance in the way of another. That, my friends, is the word that we need to hear today. Thanks a lot, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.